Hello, dear reader, and a truly heartfelt welcome. Pull up your favorite chair, perhaps pour yourself something warm, a cup of tea, a latte, or maybe even a glass of the rosé that Meghan Sussex is said to enjoy on her Montecito patio. Settle in, because we have a story today that feels less like breaking news and more like a long, cozy letter from a friend. It's a story about love, legacy, a simple trip to a toy store, and the quiet, powerful magic of a well-chosen scarf. It's a story about a family finding their footing under the California sun, and about a duchess who continues to captivate the world, not with grand pronouncements, but with small, meaningful gestures. We're talking, of course, about Meghan Sussex, the former Meghan Markle, now the Duchess of Sussex, a woman whose every move seems to radiate grace, intentionality, and an uncommon warmth. So let's begin at the beginning of this particular chapter, which starts on a sun-drenched April morning in the celebrity haven of Montecito. The sun was just beginning to warm the palm-lined streets of Montecito, California, on the first day of April 2026. There was a certain magic in the air, the kind that comes with the approach of spring, the blooming of jasmine and bougainvillea, and the quiet, delicious anticipation of a family holiday like Easter. In this coastal paradise, known for its privacy, its winding driveways, and its understated luxury, a familiar figure emerged for what looked like a routine errand. But for those watching, and there are always people watching, because Meghan Sussex has a gravitational pull that is impossible to ignore, this was anything but routine. Meghan Sussex, the 44-year-old mother of two, former actress and globally recognized humanitarian, was spotted stepping out for last-minute Easter shopping. However, as is often the case with the Duchess, her casual outing turned into a masterclass in storytelling through personal style. It wasn't just the fact that she was picking up toys for her two adorable children, Prince Archie Harrison, age 6, and Princess Lilibet Diana, age 4, or for her godchildren. No, what truly caught the eye and warmed the hearts of royal watchers around the globe was what she was wearing. Around her neck, tied elegantly but casually, not too tight, not too fussy, just perfectly relaxed, was a stunning white Hermes scarf. The silk square featured a delicate, painterly pattern, though the precise motif was partially hidden by the lapels of her coat. To the untrained eye, it was simply a beautiful piece of fabric, the kind you might see in a magazine. But to those who know the Sussexes' story, a story of resilience, devotion, and a love that has crossed oceans and survived hurricanes of media scrutiny, it was a love letter, wrapped in silk and tied with affection. Because this specific Hermes piece, as sources later confirmed to People and Hello Magazine, was a gift from her husband, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. And isn't that just the sweetest thing you have ever heard? In a world of grand gestures, billion-dollar Netflix deals, and red carpet glamour, there is something profoundly intimate about wearing a gift from your spouse while running a mundane errand like buying sea monkeys and magic tricks for your children. It speaks volumes about the state of their union. It whispers, not shouts, of a partnership that is secure, loving, and deeply attentive. Let's pause there for a moment, because the details matter. Prince Harry, now 41, has spoken openly in his memoir, Spare, and in numerous interviews about his journey towards healing and his desire to protect his family. But this small act, gifting a scarf, shows a different side of him. It shows the husband who pays attention. Here is a man who, despite growing up in the most formal and sometimes emotionally restrained of institutions, clearly knows his wife's tastes intimately. He knows that Meghan Sussex loves classic, timeless fashion. He knows she appreciates the intersection of quality, history, and effortless elegance. Hermes, with its heritage of craftsmanship dating back to 1837, is the antithesis of fast fashion. It is an investment piece, an heirloom in the making. By gifting her the scarf, Harry wasn't just giving her an accessory, he was giving her an wearable embrace. He was saying, without words, I see you. I know what you love, and I want you to have beautiful things because you deserve them, whether you are on a stage in New York City or standing in line at a toy store in our hometown. And Meghan Sussex, ever the sentimentalist, remember, this is the woman who wore a bracelet made from the clay of the land at their Frogmore cottage, returned that affection by choosing to wear that specific scarf on a day dedicated entirely to their children. It was a visual reminder to the world, and perhaps to herself, that even as she focuses on being mom during the Easter egg hunts and basket fillings, Harry is right there with her. He is wrapped around her neck, quite literally, in spirit and in silk. Furthermore, the choice of Hermès is particularly poignant because it connects two great loves of Prince Harry's life, his wife and his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. As noted by Town & Country and various royal biographers, Hermès scarves were a signature staple for the late queen. She famously preferred them to hats during the Royal Windsor Horse Show, using those luxurious silk squares to protect her perfectly coiffed hair from the wind while looking impeccably regal. She owned dozens of them, often wearing them tied under the chin with a knot that became her trademark. By wearing Hermès, Meghan Sussex is subtly weaving herself into the fabric of the family's long history. She isn't just adopting a style, she is honoring a legacy. It is a quiet, respectful nod to the late monarch, who also knew the value of a good silk scarf. It bridges the Atlantic Ocean, connecting the foggy moors of Balmoral to the sunny gardens of Montecito, where Archie and Lilibet now play with their rescue dogs. It says, we remember, we honor, and we move forward, carrying the best of the past with us. Now, let's talk about the rest of Meghan Sussex's look, because if there is one thing this Duchess excels at, aside from hosting cooking shows, advocating for paid parental leave, and writing beautiful children's books like The Bench, it is the art of the high-low mix. Fashion critics have long praised her ability to look like $1 million without spending $1 million, and this Easter shopping trip was a perfect example. While her neck was wrapped in the supreme luxury of an Hermès scarf, which can retail anywhere from $400 to over $1,000, depending on the design and rarity, the rest of her ensemble was refreshingly, wonderfully accessible. She wore a simple white baseball cap, pulled low to keep her face shaded and the focus relaxed. Over her shoulders sat a Zara trench coat. Yes, Zara, the Spanish fast fashion favorite, where a coat might cost less than a nice dinner for two in Los Angeles. She paired that with classic, well-fitting blue denim jeans and a pair of Loro Piana flats. Loro Piana is undeniably high-end, known for its cashmere and quiet luxury, but the overall effect was one of effortlessness, not ostentation. This is the genius of Meghan Sussex's personal style. She makes royalty relatable. She is telling the world, I wear the same brands you do, but I know how to style them with heirlooms and good tailoring. It is aspirational, but not untouchable. She is the Duchess who picks up her kids from school in carpool lane, who walks her dogs on the beach, and who does the grocery shopping, all while looking like she stepped out of a Ralph Lauren advertisement. In fact, during this specific outing, which was extensively reported by People, InStyle, and Page Six, Meghan Sussex was on a very specific mission. According to an insider who spoke to the press, she was picking up Easter gifts for her kids and her godchildren. She spent a considerable amount of time inside a family-owned toy store in Montecito, not a big box chain, but a local independent business. She was seen chatting warmly with the staff, asking questions about age-appropriate toys, and carefully curating the perfect basket fillers. So, what does a royal child get for Easter in 2026? What does the son and daughter of a duke and duchess find in their woven baskets on a Sunday morning? It seems the Duchess is a fan of nostalgia, of the tactile and the imaginative. Among the items spotted in her large paper shopping bags were Magic Rabbit playing cards and Magic Castle sea monkeys. Yes, sea monkeys. For those of us who grew up in the 1980s and 1990s, this is a delightful, almost hilarious throwback. Sea monkeys are those brine shrimp that you order from the back of a comic book that are supposed to grow into tiny crown-wearing creatures, but mostly just float around. It suggests that despite the grandeur of their home, that sprawling 9-bedroom, 16-bathroom estate with the chicken coop, the beehives, the swimming pool, and the organic vegetable garden, the Sussex household is filled with the same geeky, messy, wonderful, ordinary joys of childhood that the rest of us experience. There is no golden egg-laying goose at the Sussex residence. There is just a mom who thought her kids would get a kick out of watching tiny prehistoric creatures hatch in a plastic tank. This isn't the first time the Sussexes have gone all out for a holiday. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Going back to the archives to 2021, when the family was still relatively new to Montecito, a heavily pregnant Meghan Sussex and a very hands-on Prince Harry set up a Peter Rabbit-themed Easter egg hunt in their garden for the then-toddler Archie. According to a source at the time, Harry spent an entire afternoon hiding chocolate eggs and little Beatrix Potter figurines among the lavender bushes. There is something so heartwarming, so deeply human about picturing Prince Harry, a former captain in the British Army who served 2 tours in Afghanistan and who once flew Apache helicopters, crouching in the grass in his jeans, hiding plastic eggs and cardboard bunnies for his son. That is the Harry that Meghan Sussex fell in love with. That is the father he has always wanted to be. The couple has consistently and bravely emphasized their desire for normalcy despite their extraordinary circumstances. In a 2025 interview with People magazine, Meghan Sussex spoke about how the Montecito community has become a protective blanket for their family. She said, "Once you know us, I think you want us to have the same normalcy as parents, despite however unique our situation is." And that is exactly what we witnessed on that April 1st. A mom, wearing her husband's gift, buying sea monkeys and magic tricks, laughing with a shopkeeper, and looking forward to a quiet weekend of celebration. It is the opposite of the stiff, formal royal tours of yesteryear. It is a new kind of royalty, one defined by authenticity and presence.
We would be utterly remiss not to take a step back and discuss the engine that drives this beautiful modern family, the extraordinary love between Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex. It is a partnership that has weathered storms that would have sunk lesser ships, a global media firestorm, a painful departure from royal duties, security battles, and endless tabloid headlines. Yet they emerge not just intact, but glowing, stronger, and more in love than ever. Watching them interact in public is like watching a slow dance between 2 people who can hear a secret song the rest of us cannot. Body language experts and keen-eyed fans have noted the subtle, flirtatious energy that still crackles between them, even after nearly a decade together. At a recent NBA All-Star game where the couple sat courtside, expert Judy James pointed out how Meghan Sussex holds his thigh in a possessive and flirty-looking gesture, and how she leans her head close, keeping her eyes fixed on him while he speaks. This isn't a marriage of convenience or a strategic partnership. This is a love story for the ages. Remember their engagement interview with the BBC, which remains one of the most romantic royal moments in history? Harry famously revealed that he proposed while they were trying to roast a chicken at their Nottingham cottage. He barely got the question out, something about getting down on one knee, before Meghan interrupted, desperate to say yes. She didn't need a grand stage, she just needed him. It is that same impulsive, devoted, I see you energy that likely led him to buy her that Hermes scarf. It might have been an anniversary gift, a birthday present, or just a Tuesday afternoon I love you purchase. The exact date doesn't matter. What matters is that she treasures it. She has been photographed wearing several Hermes scarves over the past few years. In her delightful Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, she wore a different Hermes shawl while arranging flowers and making honey. In October 2025, she was spotted in New York City wearing another variation. She is building a collection, not as a collector of status symbols, but as a woman who appreciates art you can wear. And because Harry bought her the first one, each subsequent purchase or gift carries that original charge of love. Looking ahead to Easter weekend, which in 2026 falls on April 5th, we can only imagine the quiet joy inside the Sussex household. The garden, which Meghan has lovingly cultivated, will likely be transformed into a wonderland of pastel colors. There will be hand-dyed eggs, likely with Lilibet's tiny fingerprints on them. There will be chocolate, probably the good organic stuff from a local Santa Barbara chocolatier. There will be the laughter of 6-year-old Archie, who Meghan recently bragged about on her revived Instagram account, zooming around on his skis during a family trip to the mountains. And there will be the sweet, curious wonder of 4-year-old Lilibet, whose bright red hair and cheeky smile are said to remind everyone of her father at that age. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos and joy, the spilled jelly beans, the torn wrapping paper, the dog barking at the door, Meghan Sussex will likely be wearing that scarf again. Or perhaps a different Hermes number from her growing collection, because that is who she is. She is a woman who looks forward with hope, who honors the past with grace, and who wraps herself in the love of her husband as she builds a beautiful, peaceful, meaningful future for her children. There is a lesson here for all of us. It is not about the price tag of the silk or the zip code of the house. It is about intention. It is about choosing every day to wear your heart on your sleeve, or, in this case, around your neck. It is about supporting local toy stores and remembering the magic of sea monkeys. It is about a father who hides Easter eggs and a mother who ties her scarf just so, as a secret nod to her husband and to a queen she never met but deeply respects. Long live the Sussexes, not as distant figures behind palace walls, but as a family finding their way, just like the rest of us. And long live the magic of a well-tied scarf, a handmade card, and the simple, profound act of showing up for the people you love. From all of us here to you and yours, may your Easter be as warm and as beautifully intentional as a morning in Montecito with Meghan Sussex.